Welcome back to the Arbor League. I'm Arbor Andy, and today we're going back a month to Frenzy Plant Chesnaught. Recently, Niantic has buffed Wing Attack users. There has been a decrease in Grass Pokemon and increase in flyers like Noctowl and Charizard, which means there's more Lanturn and other electric types. This means that people are building teams entirely weak to Chesnaught. So let's hop into the matches and take a look at Frenzy Plant Chesnaught in the Great League. Today, we are pairing him up with Charmbrion and Toxapex. And I found Toxapex pairs nicely with Chesnaught. Its poison type covers the fairy weakness, while the water covers the fire and the ice weakness, and while Toxapex's bulk makes it a great safe swap to keep alignment. Hopping into the first match, we get a perfect lead in the Lanturn, and they safe swap into Trevenant. And this is terrible because Trevenant actually beats our entire team. So we're going to go ahead and throw the Frenzy Plant here, and that will do a lot of damage, and it will enable Toxapex to shield once and farm down in this matchup. If it was full health on full health, it might not have been such an excellent match, but we actually can shield once here and get the poison jab down because we're able to tank that Shadow Ball. Toxapex's bulk is pretty nice, able to farm down, and we take switch. That Lanturn will be wanting to come back in and look for the farm down, or at least get to a move. That's where the opponent's waiting out their switch clocks, throw the Sludge Wave right away, and try to get some neutral damage off on the Lanturn. They actually let it go through. They want to look for the farm down, which enables us to get to yet another Sludge Wave. And they're going to have to start shielding because these Sludge Waves do a massive amount of damage. Toxapex, the water type, actually taking switch up against a electric type. We are able to get to another brine here as this A9 is actually running Powder Snow, so they have to use a first shield. They probably lost count, thought it was a Sludge Wave. Totally okay with me. We can actually come in here with Brion, and because the A9 isn't running Charm, this makes it a positive match for us. Their Charms hit a little bit harder, so that would make it a negative match for us, but we actually let the Dazzling Gleam go through, which is debatable there. So we're going to have to start shielding this Weather Ball here, which is unfortunate because that's resisted, but we can actually look for the farm down, and we get it and take the win with Brion. We learn a lesson in the next match as our opponent leads Lanturn into our Chesnaught. They're going to have to safe swap into Altaria, and I make the mistake of going into Toxapex. I panicked. I should have gone into Brion because we would have ripped through them with Charm, but as you can see here, these Sky Attacks will chip away, so we will have to shield eventually. We do get a Sludge Wave off, and this will do a solid amount of chip damage to Altaria, about a third of its health, but these Dragon Breaths are also shredding us, so we will have to shield, and we're going to have to make a very brave play here. You're going to see we have to farm this Altaria all the way down. Can we do it? Toxapex able to farm down and take switch on the Altaria. Let's go. They come back in with the Lanturn wanting to look for the farm down. They let Sludge Wave number 1 through. Do we get to Sludge Wave number 2? We do not. Everything is resisted on Chesnaught. We can safely come back in and hopefully get a move off. That Lanturn, we also waiting out the switch clock, and here's why we should have swapped into Brion first. Because these Frenzy Plants, yeah, double resisted. Those superpowers resisted because of Venusaur's poison type. And Sludge Bomb is going to be doing super effective to us. These Vine Whips are doing nothing. The Charms are doing nothing. Going to try to at least get a superpower here, get some damage off. I know the Inevitable is coming. They to get a shield. That's our only win con, is that they just don't throw. Our win con is top lifting by now, so letting Brion go here, and that's G to the G to the G, GG. Another miserable lead in our next match, Wigglytuff. We will have to safe swap into Brion, and this is where we learn non-stab Charm doesn't do as much damage as stab Charm does. On the plus side, we are able to get to a move here, and we are able to get a shield from the Wigglytuff, hopefully if they do. That's okay with me, and Brion goes down. I think Primarina would be a suitable substitute for our non-stab Charmbrion here, but we come in with Toxapex resisting everything, and they actually give up Switch here, which surprises me, so we will have to eat a Mud Bomb here, but the Mud Bombs don't do that much damage. Toxapex is kind of tanky, trying to wait out the Switch clock, so I throw a Brine here just to waste down that Switch clock and shield if they do throw, but we can come in with Chesnaught here safely, and this is an obvious Blizzard is obvious. We know it's coming, there it is, and now we can just farm all the way down, and we have that Wigglytuff in the back, which is unfortunate. So we blind Frenzy Plant, but they win CMP. Let me know in the comments who wins CMP between Wigglytuff and Chesnaught. I thought a fighter would against the Chubby Bunny over here, but gonna get off that Frenzy Plant, take out the Wigglytuff, and in comes a Pelipper, so this is doable. They throw a Weather Ball. I think they're just going for the chip damage and wing attack down. Weather Ball not going to KO. It is resisted against the grass type. However, Frenzy Plant is really going to hurt the Pelipper, so they will have to shield one of these, and they do. We've still got a full Toxapex in the back, but we get to a Frenzy Plant at the last second. Chesnaught 1 HP in a dream. Frenzy Plant getting the Pelipper really low. We Poison Jab down and take the win. Awkward lead in the next match as it is into Medicham. My plan is here to catch an Ice Punch onto one of the water types. We count to 6, swap, and there it is. And hopefully we should be catching what we think is an Ice Punch. Ice Punch, boop, tickles the Toxapex. And this Medicham is staying in to throw a Psychic. We go for the extra Poison Jab, and they're firing off a move. This will be the Psychic. I will let it go through. The counters are resisted, but the Psychic really hurts. They decide to safe swap into Lanturn, and we get to Sludge Wave number 1. This will be doing a solid amount of chip damage to Lanturn if they let it go through, which they do. They're looking for the aggressive farm down, which enables us to get to Sludge Wave number 2. And we've seen what happens before when they let this go through. But this opponent let it go through, and they do, and Toxapex takes switch up against a Lanturn yet again. Let's go Toxapex. Tough choice here. We have to come in with either a fighter or Brionne, but we're already loaded up on energy. We get to back-to-back superpowers here, and this will be doing neutral damage to the Octowl because they carry that normal type. They let first one go through, bang, does a solid amount of chip damage. Will they let the second go through? They do, and they get the farm down. Throwing back-to-back superpowers, they're allowed less farm on their part as we lowered our defense twice, but we can safely come back in here with Brionne, charm down the Noctowl, shield one, and take one, because we need to save a shield for the Medicham in the back. We get the charm down, Medicham comes back in. Will they get to a move? Yes, they do at the last second, but because they threw that move, it allowed us to get a charm through. All we have to do is shield, and they KO, and that is a good game. Getting that 3-2, going positive, climbing back up to the 2300s after some hard counters today. Putting Lanturn on the team on this set because I needed better flyer coverage as that team wasn't having a very good day with Skarmory. Getting right into it, Dream lead in the first match, up against Galarian Stunfisk. We absolutely walled this thing. They safe swap into Defense Deoxys, and to be honest, they should have gone into Lanturn here because they have Thunderbolt that will be doing super effective damage to the Toxapex. It would have been doing neutral to the Lanturn because of its electric typing. So we will go ahead and throw the Sludge Wave here. This will hit for some heavy neutral damage if they let it go, which they do. And I'm thinking I might be able to win switch here. So if we shield once, this is going to be a Psycho Boost, so it's super effective against her poison typing. But if they throw again, which they do, this will be doing less damage as they debuff their attack. Defense Deoxys stays in to get farmed down, and we actually win switch. Toxapex, pretty tanky, and the Galarian Stunfisk comes back in to farm down. We get a Brine off. This is super effective to their ground typing. They go for an aggressive farm down. We get another Brine off, and this will be doing some solid chip damage to the Galarian Stunfisk. We still have to see what's in the back, but this makes the Chesnaught match a little bit better. Despite being resisted, Earthquake still hits pretty hard. This is a great league after all. Everything is a little less bulky. Stunfisk is going to be firing off a move. We're going to look for the farm down. They go for the Rock Slide bait. We throw the move right onto the Noctowl, and we should have thrown Superpower. Like I said earlier, Noctowl has the dual normal typing, but we have the perfect response in Lanturn, which we don't have to shield anything. We can even bait them here. They're going to be throwing the Shadow Ball, but Lanturn is pretty tanky. Shadow Ball, not doing that much, probably about a third, so we will have to shield the next one, and we will go for the Thunder here. This will be getting their final shield because this will KO the Lanturn. It KOs, and from here, we can even no-shield this next Shadow Ball. Lanturn is still pretty tanky. Shadow Ball, we take it. We barely hang on with 1 HP in a dream, and we get off this Thunder. This Thunder will KO the Noctowl, and because we let that Shadow Ball go through, the Stunfisk gets very little farm. We still have a shield they're going to throw. Even if this is the Earthquake, we can hang on. They Rock Slide bait us again. We get to another superpower, and this will be taking out the Stunfisk. Chesnaught, the perfect counter to Stunfisk, and we take the win. Switch it up to Walrein for the next few matches. Into the next battle. And I'm facing what I believe to be Home Slice Henry's Legend Climbing team. So I'm believing there to be a Bastiodon and a Medicham in the back. Firing off a resisted Frenzy Plant here, still hits pretty hard. They decide to shield, and I'm going to shield in turn. On this next move, it's just going to be a Body Slam. We're going to do some heavy neutral damage to us. I'm going to throw one more Superpower, try to get a shield at least, and if they let it go through, I'm going to swap directly into Walrein, which they do. Nice swap, try to farm down, and it's not a Bastiodon, but it's a Stunfisk. This is okay. I mean, they throw a Rock Slide here that's super effective. It hurts. We can tank it, but I'm going to full send the Earthquake considering we have Chesnaught in the back. They're going to let this go through, which they do, and we can farm down with Chesnaught. We're going to try to reach an Icicle Spear. We do not. We're going to save that shield, let Walrein go down, and come back in with the Chesnaught. The Dragonair is pretty low, so I don't have to worry about whether or not Lanturn faces it. We get the farm down before they get to a move. We come out with a Frenzy Plant, but they throw right away. Dragonair very spammy. Body Slam coming through. We get the farm down, and where's that Medicham? There it is. Frenzy Plant gonna hurt. And we've pretty much won this game. Lanturn's bulk, plus his water typing, will prevent him from getting ice punched. Also the Psychic might hurt a little bit, but we're going to get off that Thunder. They're running Power Up Punch. We get to the Thunder, and this is going to do a ton of neutral damage to the Medicham. The problem is we're going to need one Thunder and one Surf to KO. Does about half health to Medicham. Truth time, are they running Ice Punch, Psychic, or Dynamic Punch? They're running Power Up Punch, which means they're running Ice Punch. We get to a Surf, and this will be taking out the Medicham. There it is, and we take the win. Another dream lead in our next match, you love to see it. Galarian Stunfisk. The opponent is going to safe swap into Medicham, and we're actually going to Frenzy Plant and dip here. We're going to chip away at the Medicham and still pivot into Lanturn here, try to catch an Ice Punch, but the opponent keeps farming, saves their energy, and this is going to be the Psychic. I know the Psychic hurts, but I threw the Frenzy Plant before because I know that a Thunder and a Surf KOs Medicham, but even if they're going to shield, we can make this more energy efficient on the Lanturn by going straight Surf. They actually let it go through, and the Stunfisk comes back in right away. We even get to yet another Surf here because they're forced to go for Earthquake. We do some super effective chip damage, and they're at a Rock Slide. The point of throwing this Rock Slide is here, it doesn't KO, get one more Mud Shot and some energy. Isn't going to matter though because we have a Chesnaught in the back and out we come. They're not switching out. This possibly could mean that they are weak to Chesnaught in the back, but they bait us with Rock Slide, which is very unfortunate. We're going to Frenzy Plant here and see what they decide to do. Frenzy Plant will be KOing the stupid Bear Trap. They still have 2 shields. They use 1, and something in the back doesn't want to see Chesnaught. We're going to let this go through. We're still not in Earthquake range, just another Rock Slide, and this Frenzy Plant will be taking out the stupid Bear Trap once and for all. We have to see what's in the back, what they're saving their shields for. It's a Lanturn, and in Home Slice Henry's words, the opponent sees a writing on the wall and concedes the match. Scary lead in the next one as it's up against Frostlass. We'll immediately safe swap into the Walrein and go straight for the Earthquake. And the Frostlass has to go for the Shadow Ball to do any substantial amount of damage. Shadow Ball doing over half of Walrein's health as we see an Azumarill come in. They try to catch the Earthquake, but we wanted to throw the nuke anyways. Earthquake, not doing very much to Azumarill. Gonna need about 3 to KO. I'm okay with letting Walrein go down here. We fall just short of the Earthquake, and at this point, we're gonna see what moves the Azu has. They have Play Rough. Walrein has done its job. It's baited out the Azumarill, and we can come back in with Chesnaught and line up the Frostlass with the Lanturn. We don't need our Grass type going up against the Ice type here, so we are going to use a Shield because they revealed that they have Play Rough. Play Rough does a lot of damage as Chesnaught is a fighter. We've doubled up on the Frenzy Plants, just short of the next one, so we can go for the first one here, and this will KO the Azumarill. They let it go, and that Frostlass wants to come back in. Opponent's going to be waiting out their switch clock, but they actually come with an Alola Ninetales. Now this is even more scary because Chesnaught loses to the last 2 Pokemon. We throw a Frenzy Plant because it still would have hit like a truck. We try to get to the next one, which we do, and we can save 1 shield for Lanturn in the back. Frenzy Plant doing a solid amount of chip damage here. We simultaneously swap, and we're going to go straight for the Thunder. Again, Frostlass is forced to go for the Shadow Ball. The Lanturn is pretty tanky. We can take it. Shadow Ball does about of half health's Lanturn, and I find, you know what? I'm actually going to go for the Surf here because even if they shield, we can get 2 moves off here. They don't shield. This is going from bad to worse, so I'm going to fire off the Surf again before they get to the next Shadow Ball, and they let Frostlass go down. The A9 is going to Charm down, but they actually throw a move here, and I actually decide to shield because Chesnaught doesn't want to take those Charm damages. He's too low. We try to get to the Thunder. That's not going to work, so we're actually going to go for the Surf here, try to get their last shield, which we do. Chesnaught taking super effective damage, and we actually prevent the opponent from getting a win by simultaneous KO. Unfortunate lead in our last match. We're going to save swap into the Walrein, hoping to line it up with the Lanturn later, and we're met with the Bastiodon. Our win condition here is that we go for the Earthquake and that they don't shield. Do they respect the damage? They do not. and I'm thinking, you know what, I might be able to win Switch here. This is going to be a crazy game. Do I decide to shield? Yes, I do. It's going to be the Stone Edge. They're going to have to reach another one, but I'm going to go for the very aggressive farm down, and we get it! Walrein taking Switch from the Bastiodon. Back-to-back Icicle Spears for not a Swampert, but a Marshtomp comes out. I'm thinking, what is this doing here? We got some spice in the last match, back-to-back Icicle Spears, getting that Marshtomp very low. They farm us down, and that gives us the perfect alignment that we need. This Marshtomp is very low. We can come back in with Chesnaught, and I know it's that much energy, but we can farm down and come out with some energy to threaten the Noctowl. Boink, just a Mud Bomb, and unfortunately we are down shields, so we're going to try to get a shield here with the Superpower. This will be doing some heavy neutral damage to Noctowl's normal type. They let it go, and we can come in with Lanturn. Unfortunately here we have to go for the farm down because they have 2 shields. Gonna have to shield the Shadow Ball eventually, so Noctowl gets the Shadow Ball number 2, and this is a race. Who's gonna win? We have 1 shield. So my win con is actually making this opponent go down with 2 shields. We're gonna see who gets the farm down first. We get the farm down, and that is a good game. So Chesnaught still very viable in the Great League, even more so now with Frenzy Plant, and despite increased presence of flyers. Today we hit 100 subscribers, so I'm very grateful as that is my first milestone. And I appreciate everyone watching, liking, and subscribing. I'm going to make a video on that, including viewer requested content as a thank you. So stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed the video, continue to like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. I've been Arbor Andy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.